The big idea was to blanket Egypt's deserts with solar power and contribute positively to changing Egypt's energy mix. So at Solarize, we're an independent power producer, so we develop renewable assets. We started with solar and delved into water desalination, treatment, and waste management as well. And the idea is to make solar affordable by selling electricity cheaper than governments through power purchasing agreements. Solarize started with an idea. I was stuck in a factory, and at the time Egypt had major energy shortages, and we were used to power cuts that could extend for more than 3 hours a day. Didn't make any sense to me why there's so much solar potential and Egypt is not leveraging that specific technology. So we started off on a very long journey. It was just myself and someone else in a very, very small office. And we did 151 failed proposals because at the time Egypt was heavily subsidizing its electricity and the business model didn't make much sense. Before we did Egypt's very first grid-connected solar system at the American University in Cairo. And that was really the starting point to propel us to where we are today. Today we have more than 400 employees across 4 different business lines and expanding opportunities into Africa and the Middle East. When we first started, the business model was relatively simple and we used to sell solar solutions as an EPC contractor, which means we sold the hardware and made a small margin. The complexity of the model increased significantly with time, and we realized that the market requirement was to sell electricity so that people would make savings in day one. That was a really good idea for us because it included a lot of revenue generating potential, which made the company a lot more valuable and scalable and a better candidate for Endeavor. So at the beginning, our clients were B2C clients where we were targeting specific individuals with villas and units where we could install the solar systems. But also the complexity became a lot larger when we went for larger scale systems. We created a unique market selling opportunity in which we target specific clients, and with the increase in the ability to do larger projects, we started to go after B2B clients. And that meant creating tailored solutions for credit-worthy off-takers where banks wanted to finance these projects. The complexity of the structure also increased by creating a company for each project and being able to leverage project financing from banks. That gave us a much larger capital structure and a larger ability to invest in larger TICs or higher capex projects. The creation of a team that could basically turn this idea into a reality on the ground with all the complexities associated with the business was very, very difficult and complex in the beginning. And being able to attract calibers where you need top performing individuals at multinationals, where they're joining a startup with the level of risk associated with it, was a very difficult task in selling a vision before it became anything on the ground. Another major challenge that we faced was related to changing the banking system and financial system in Egypt to accommodate financing projects for 25 years. That was extremely complex with the scale that we had and the difficulty with the industry itself in order to be able to get capital, not just on the equity side, but on the debt side as well. Being in a capex intensive industry, it was extremely difficult to go against competition that had much deeper pockets, and we needed to innovate in the business model to create a situation where we're competitive on the landscape. And some of those major clients that we were able to capture on the way includes Guna, a subsidiary of Orascom, also Arabian Cement Company, the largest cement manufacturer in Egypt, and multinationals such as Coca-Cola. These projects are extremely important because as soon as we went back and changed our business model, we had a very small runway with the ability to continue to function with the company without having recurring revenue. And our ability to translate our business model into a signed contract was not an easy task to do. I think we had around 1 month from creating the model to being able to sign the contract. And from that point, we also had to raise around 60 million Egyptian pounds in 60 days. Otherwise, we'd not have the equity contribution in a bootstrap business to be able to function as a developer and independent power producer. Successfully, we did it in 58 days. And that allowed the business to continue, and we could not have done it without Endeavor because the round was done through a series of high net worth individuals, all associated with Endeavor, either fellow entrepreneurs or people on the board at the time that supported in being able to close the round in a time where the business needed it very much. Since joining Endeavor, I think Endeavor was instrumental to the hockey stick and inflection point in the company. That translated across multiple segues. The first being my personal development as an entrepreneur and the ability to combine complex models in a structure that was feasible and transactable and investable. This would be very difficult to do without having commercial introductions and conversations with fellow entrepreneurs who have completed their journey and were at a later stage. The second major point Endeavor helped me with was creating a network where I had mentors that basically could give me wings and an ability to be more ambitious in the way I thought about the business. Tamer Rakhi, to name one of them, has been incredible, and we've been meeting every 2 weeks since I joined Endeavor. And without him, I don't think the business would be where it's at today. I also got introduced to extremely exciting companies and entrepreneurs around Africa. We're working together now to leverage carbon credits and create additional revenue streams through their collective experience as well. Every single capital raise we've done was through the help and support of Endeavor, whether it's about the positioning of the round itself, the selection of the investors, or vetting them and doing our due diligence on them. I could not have done it without them. In terms of the operational complexity of the business, being part of a program at Endeavor where we had access to consultants from Bain really helped us basically map our future in terms of how the company is progressing and how we're progressing from a small or medium enterprise to a larger organization through the complexity of the structure, while maintaining a lean startup culture and being investable enough to attract the kind of investments and bankability that we required. We also formed a very interesting board of advisors that gave us the environment to discuss business problems openly outside of a board of directors structure and really be able to solve those problems in a timely manner. It's important to not discount the importance of Endeavor in situations where there's a crisis mode or where there's a fast-moving landscape, whether it's through the seminars and meetings that are organized to speak about specific issues, or it's about being able to pivot in an accelerated format. I think Endeavor has helped us twice for the business to survive. The first was when COVID hit and we had the situation where all of the new projects were halted for more than 12 months, and we needed to find alternative revenue streams and ability to capture revenue that existed in our projects that was not yet on hand. The second time it happened was with the current with the current geopolitical issues that we're facing and a changing landscape between a devaluating currency and an increase in interest rates. We quickly needed to pivot the business to actually add more business lines and to look at other geographic locations. This process would have taken at least 3 to 6 times longer if we did not have Endeavor and the ability to tap into the African ecosystem, as well as seminars and events in Saudi Arabia as well, to help structure our cookie cutter expansion plan. It's very, very important to note that, and I don't think any business can do it as fast as we did without the presence of Endeavor and without the presence of the network that really want to support you and see you grow and be part of your journey through the success of your company. It's a very rare ecosystem to find, and I encourage everyone to leverage it to the maximum.